China's Belt and Road Initiative, a trillion-dollar infrastructure project that is looking to recreate an ancient trade route across Eurasia, has a sister program that is just as ambitious. Dubbed the Digital Silk Road, this initiative is looking to leverage China's growing tech prowess into connecting Asia and Africa through fiber optic cables and software companies. However, China's significant strides in digital technology have sparked concerns, mostly from the United States. Will the creation of a Chinese-led digital Silk Road threaten the U.S.'s decades-long dominance in tech? And is a digital Cold War brewing between the two rivals? Nilhan tells us more.
For decades, Western tech giants have dominated the global digital space, from the hardware and infrastructure to the software powering our devices. But is the West's lead slowly waning thanks to China? The world's second-largest economy is expanding its technological footprint with a project it calls the Digital Silk Road. First unveiled in 2015, the Digital Silk Road aims to bring this ancient trade route back to life through investments in tech infrastructure that will digitally connect Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. An offshoot of the trillion-dollar Belt and Road Initiative, Beijing says it wants to offer countries alternative options away from the traditionally Western-dominated ones. But not everyone is happy about China's rapid rise.
The U.S. and Europe, along with many others, are concerned by China's actions, from its pursuit of economic coercion to macroeconomic imbalances that are leading to industrial overcapacity.
Chinese firms like Huawei and ZTE are involved in this digital transformation by providing expertise and equipment. Their products range from phones, semiconductors, storage solutions, surveillance systems, and 4G and 5G network solutions. But in 2019, the US imposed strict sanctions on Huawei semiconductor chips over concerns that they could be tools used for espionage. China says the West is overstretching.
We firmly oppose United States' generalization of the concept of national security, abuse of state power, and unreasonable suppression of Chinese companies. The United States violates international rules. It will also harm itself, and it will eventually shoot itself in the foot.
Turkey is among the countries that view this BRI offshoot as an opportunity to diversify its digital economy and foster a deeper relationship with China, already its second-largest trade partner. Chinese tech companies have become big investors in Turkey's booming e-commerce market, and Huawei has signed deals with the country's major telecom providers on 5G connectivity. And it's not just Turkey. China's geopolitical influence has reached far and wide as countries across Asia and Africa seek to forge partnerships with non-Western groups like BRICS and the SCO. Though Silicon Valley remains the global tech leader, Beijing's rapid gains are raising eyebrows in Western capitals. Those suspicions are mirroring growing geopolitical tensions between Beijing and Washington. And how this digital rivalry plays out between these two tech superpowers is still anyone's guess. Nilhan, Straight Talk.
For more on the Digital Silk Road Initiative, joining me now from Beijing is Andy Mock. He is a senior research fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. And from Ankara, Nilhan Acikalin. She is an associate professor over at Ankara's Haci Bayram Veli University. Welcome to both of you. Andy, let me begin with you. For the better part of a decade, we've been talking about the Belt and Road Initiative. How does the Digital Silk Road fit into all this?
Well, the Digital Silk Road is an integral part of the Belt and Road Initiative because the attention that's given to the Belt and Road Initiative largely focuses on the physical infrastructure, so the roads, the power plants, the ports, etc. But as we all know, hardware without software really doesn't work very well. So the Digital Silk Road complements the physical infrastructure with all of the, loosely speaking, we can think of it as the software, the digital, the electronic aspects to that. And of course, there is some hardware servers other things that allow us to conduct our lives digitally, and increasingly our digital lives and our physical lives are merging, as we see with e-commerce, ride hailing in the consumer facing world. And there's a whole host of other industrial applications as well, where the digital part of the activities are just as important as the more observable physical ones.
Andy, here's the concern that some may have with all this. When you're talking about Chinese software, I think two words initially pop into your mind, and that is surveillance and data connection. How is this going to be? How much of a challenge is this going to be to sort of topple the US tech dominance?
Well, I think the issue here is largely perception. So there is still, I think, a quite prevalent view that Western, largely American technology offers greater data security and greater privacy as well. But if we look back to some really shocking and flagrant examples, I think the most blatant one is the Edward Snowden revelations in 2013, where it was discovered that through American technology platforms and products, that the United States government was surveilling in an unprecedented way people all around the world, including some of its closest allies. So I think that these issues, these perceptions are real, that Western technology is seen as somehow more secure and offering greater privacy. But at the same time, I think, objectively speaking, all technology poses risk, and it is a never-ending game of ensuring that data security and privacy requirements are met.
Okay, Andy, hold on just one second. I want to get Suay into the conversation. Suay, good to see you. Turkey has traditionally sat at the crossroads, at a very pivotal role of the traditional Silk Road. How is Turkey going to benefit from this?
Thank you, Alican. And Andy already mentioned that Digital Silk Road is a complementary part of the Silk Road initiative of the China. And in this respect, Turkey has been already a successful partner in the trade and the global trade routes together with China in very multi-diverse sector. And when it comes to the Digital Silk Road, I can say three main points would be beneficial by the Turkey. First one, Turkey and China make collaboration on especially the digital economy development to have bigger job opportunities in Turkey, and especially these areas are e-commerce and artificial intelligence. And secondly, Turkey and China made a very important cooperation, especially the broadband network and the 5G infrastructure both in the Turkey. And the last things, I think it's not only the mutual benefits that Turkey can have from the Digital Silk Road, but it's also bilateral and multilateral platforms like the organization Turkic states could be a benefit for the Turkeys, and the China can work together to have much more effective digital infrastructures and investments through this program that's fueled by the China.
I want to talk another area that could be of mutual benefit in terms of perhaps the country using Turkey to leapfrog certain restrictions. And I'm talking because of the perceptions that Andy was just mentioning about. Talk to me about, both of you, the importance that Turkey plays in entering particular markets like the European Union if it can't do it directly. Andy, let me begin with you.
Sure. Well, I think Turkey absolutely has a vital role to play, because we touched on the hardware and the software aspects of the Digital Silk Road. But another very, very important piece of the puzzle are the standards, the policies, and the procedures. So if we think about, for example, e-commerce, there not only needs to be the IT infrastructure that allows this trade to happen, and the software, the applications that consumers and businesses can use to buy and sell things. But without some harmonization and standardization of shipping, of payment, of settlement, none of this would work. So when we look at the Eurasian landmass, and we could put Africa in this as well, I mean, this is a majority of the world's population. It's an enormous part and a rapidly growing part of global GDP. So, and of course, Turkey sits literally bridging Europe and Asia. So I think it has a very, very vital role to play at every layer of the technology stack, hardware, software, and policies, procedures, et cetera.
Andy, I'll ask you about the expansion policy when it comes to the African continent in just a bit, but Suay, let me turn to you. Turkey and the European Union have a customs agreement. How does the Chinese software, the 5G, the digital economy, use this to actually enter that market?
Well, Alija, first thing is that, of course, the logistic advantage of the Turkey makes much more easy to sell different digital products to EU. But at the same time, as you mentioned, that because Turkey is a part of the custom union, it has a different some other applications compared to the other countries. And when it comes to the mutual contracts or agreements with some specific sectors, companies between Turkish and the Chinese companies, it would be much more easy to reach out the European market through the custom union regime. Also, I should be open the parentheses here. Turkey is right now on the process of upgrading the custom union. If we can manage to do with the EU side, it will be much more advantageous for Chinese and the Turkish companies' cooperation in this sector too.
Okay. Andy, let me come back to you in terms of the African continent. Here you have two countries that are essentially 2.0 when it comes to countries trying to expand their influence compared to the traditional imperialist or colonial philosophy. How can they both compete and actually succeed together?
Well, I think there's certainly more opportunities for cooperation and collaboration in Africa. So it's, of course, an enormous, diverse continent with varying levels of economic development and concomitant different economic requirements and opportunities as well. So I think that certainly a partnership and cooperation offers much greater upside than I think direct competition. And also, as you rightly pointed out, I think China's approach has always been win-win, respect for mutual sovereignty.
Okay, Andy, thank you. Suay, I'm going to give you the last word. In a world where we're seeing the world order change, globalization is on the decline, because of digital trade, cross-border e-commerce and digital services, is it a win-win, like Andy said, between Turkey and China?
There is no doubt. Otherwise, it doesn't work in the long term and it won't be sustainable. I can also say that especially using a Turkish network in Africa would be an interesting benefit for the Chinese digital Silk Road project, because both countries have already lots of deep relations with Africa, but Turkey has its own a very unique relations. And in this respect, it will be much more work together, more efficient for both countries and also continent favor itself.
Suay, Nilhan, Acikalin, and Andy Mock, great having you here on Straight Talk. Thank you very much. That's all for this edition of Straight Talk with me, Ali Janayandar. If you've got any comments, please share them with us on X at Straight Talk TRT. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, take care and goodbye.